Our first Bible reading today is Isaiah chapter 40, verses 21 to 31. Do you not know? Were you not told long ago? Have you not heard how the world began? It was made by the one who sits on his throne above the earth and beyond the sky. The people below look as tiny as ants. He stretched out the sky like a curtain, like a tent in which to live. He brings down powerful rulers and reduces them to nothing. They are like young plants, just set out and barely rooted. When the Lord sends a wind, they dry up and blow away like straw. To whom can the holy God be compared? Is there anyone else like him? Look up at the sky. Who created the stars you see? The one who leads them out like an army. He knows how many there are and calls each one by name. His power is so great, not one of them is ever missing. Israel, why then do you complain that the Lord doesn't know your troubles or care if you suffer injustice? Don't you know? Haven't you heard? The Lord is the everlasting God. He created all the world. He never grows tired or weary. No one understands his thoughts. He strengthens those who are weak and tired. Even those who are young grow weak. Young people can fall exhausted, but those who trust in the Lord for help will find their strength renewed. They will rise on wings like eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not grow weak. Take a look at this picture, and in particular, notice the little tiny point of light part way along the reddish-brown line on the right-hand side. Now this is actually a historic photo, but what do you think it shows? Is it fibres from a tartan scarf with a little tiny fragment of fingernail that was used by police forensic scientists to solve a notorious cold case? Is it the first ever photograph of a white blood cell? Is it a hole burned into a single strand of hair by the world's narrowest laser beam? Or is it none of the above? Well, actually, the answer is none of the above. This is an image, believe it or not, of the entire human race, or at least everyone who was alive 31 years ago when the photo was taken, because that tiny point of light is planet Earth, as it was seen by the space probe Voyager 1, which by that time was over 3.5 billion miles away from us, further away than the planet Neptune. Now, the different coloured lines on the photo are actually just an effect produced by sunlight bouncing off the space probe's instruments, but the pale blue dot, less than a single pixel wide, is real. And in fact, pale blue dot is the title that's been given to this photograph. Now, in our generation, we've become quite used to seeing images of planet Earth taken from space, although it's worth remembering that until about 55 years ago that was all but impossible. And even so, there's something really awe-inspiring about this pale blue dot photo. It confronts us with just how small we are and how big the cosmos. The Bible reading we've heard from the prophecy of Isaiah was written centuries before anyone had dreamed of photographs or space probes, but in its own way, this writing also confronts us with how small we are, because it invites us to think about God, who sits above the earth, beyond the sky. And yet it tells us that the same God who calls stars into being and numbers them so that none is missing, sees the small things too. For the one who crafted the galaxies also set spinning every atom within us. We may be small in God's sight, but we are seen by God nevertheless, and we matter to God. Why do you complain that the Lord doesn't know your troubles, wrote Isaiah, or care if you suffer injustice? God strengthens those who are weak and tired, and those who trust in the Lord for help will find their strength renewed. Together, we are just a tiny speck upon a tiny speck within the whole vast cosmos, and yet each one of us is made up of billions upon billions of minute microscopic cells. And wonder of wonders, we are known and held and loved by God, who made it all. Thanks be to God.